I wanted to share something with you that was coming through for me as I was thinking about how not only my own journey has evolved in terms of healing and growth and evolution and guiding others through healing work and embodiment work. That's something that has come through recently as I was sitting with the thought of what is embodiment, what is healing, how has this shifted within me, within my work, and with those that I work with. And it feels important to share more about it because it's where I'm at, and I think that's important to let people know, right? I've been sitting with the word healing lately and realizing that it doesn't quite fully describe what I see happening with people that I work with and within myself too. Healing often carries this connotation underneath about surviving or survival, trying to get rid of symptoms or unwanted experiences, fixing things or trying to fix things, or focusing on putting out fires in our life. Also learning how to function inside a life that still feels small or tight or muted. And I have found that it's a position that I find to be unfortunately fearful and disempowering as well. And honestly stressful, right? The stress of that is palpable, is felt within ourselves, within others that we're surrounding ourselves with. But I'm noticing that there is a different way forward when approaching healing, especially people that are coming to me are usually dealing with recurring physical symptoms or even mental symptoms, issues with their mental health, wanting to feel more connected with their purpose or their true self, feeling more connected in their body and spirit. And so the way forward that I haven't quite had the words for yet as they were developing, but the way forward is embodiment. And I know that that word is, it's a buzzword, I think, in this day and age. However, it's what the body is really calling us into. And I've found that symptoms are its invitation into that. So what do I mean by embodiment? I think that's important because it's thrown around a lot, right? Embodiment to me is becoming that living, breathing way that you want to feel and be in your life. Not hoping for it, yet operating in the same ways that we have. Not someday after everything is perfect or fixed, but right now in your bones, your tissues, your breath, your choices, and how you stand, express, hold yourself, think, view, and rest. Embodiment is how life is actually experienced when it's safe to fully inhabit yourself again. And I think that that's such an interesting word, inhabit yourself. Inhabit. So a lot of times I'm seeing people that I'm working with are feeling disassociated, disconnected, not in their body, in their head, not in the present moment, not in feelings that they want to be in. And we can feel this pulling of ourselves, or even a detachment of self as if we're on the outside looking in. And so embodiment to me is coming back to this place of self, rooting and centering yourself in that, being present in that when it's safe, right, to fully inhabit your life again. And I think we're really craving that in this day and age where there's a lot of things in our lives that pull our attention outward. So embodiment is how life is actually experienced when it's safe to fully inhabit yourself again. And that literally radiates a new signal in your cells. It literally radiates a new signal in yourself, in your cells, people pick up on it, right? It's a very real thing when someone walks into a room that's emanating a certain something. You can feel it, you can pick up on it. To me, embody work here and the work that I do with people begins with seeing your mind and body symptoms as helpful messages rather than threats. And this is a big one. This is where I have to start with people because we've been very trained to see them as threats. From there, it's about listening to them, understanding them, and also allowing what your mind and body are feeling to shift the way it feels to be you. So I've found that when we're seeking external remedies to remove symptoms, often they keep coming back because nothing has truly shifted inside at the deeper level that's being asked for. And it also tends to leave us feeling misunderstood, maybe even a bit empty when we approach it that way. I've also witnessed that inner safety, flow, and trust can actually be created from within the body itself. I have done it in my own body. It's amazing to feel that sense of rootedness within yourself, first and foremost, versus trying to get it from out there. And when symptoms are truly heard and their messages are integrated, it becomes a spiritual experience. In my own experience, it can't not be a spiritual experience because you evolve. Symptoms can resolve in that way, in that space, because their purpose has been embraced. And you're now inhabiting the full spectrum of your life force energy rather than just a fragment, right? You're living fuller, in greater capacity, in greater spectrum, wholeness, we'll use that word, versus a slice, versus limiting, versus boxing ourselves into something that feels restricting. When this happens, life doesn't just improve, but it opens, right? It widens. It goes from black and white to Technicolor, from dull and pixelated to vivid and dimensional. And it's important for me to say, does that mean that everything is rose-colored and we will face no challenges? Absolutely not. Because embodiment is about embracing the full experience of being human. All the feelings, the experiences, like what we do with those lessons, how we integrate them, how we move forward, how we evolve. Instead, when we can work from this place of embodiment through life's challenges, we can get creative with them. We can get creative with the challenges that brings us while feeling rooted in greater strength, capacity, presence, and an optimistic attitude, which really helps us navigate them in a much different way. You feel empowered versus feeling at the mercy of outside forces, and that's a big shift. That's a big coming home and rooting into your personal power. And it really makes me think about that there's a reversal that I just keep seeing happening through this work with people, with myself as well, is that healing doesn't create embodiment. Embodiment creates healing. It reorganizes the nervous system and invites the mind into creativity. Truth lived in the body does what effort or force alone never could. That's the kind of work that I care about, that I see making a big difference in people's lives, in their symptoms, in their overall health and well-being, in their feelings of connectedness and presence within their own life. What's exciting about it to me is that it's not just about surviving life anymore. It's about helping you inhabit its richness and doing so with enthusiasm and a new attitude. And that changes everything, really. So those are my thoughts right now on where I'm at, where my work is at, maybe even where it's been at for a long time, but I haven't quite had the words for. You know, this stuff's invisible, so it's sometimes challenging to find the words to capture it appropriately or in its full entirety. And maybe this doesn't even fully do that, but it's a good start. It feels like a good place to be at, to express to all of you. So I thank you for watching, and I would love to hear any insights that may have arisen for you while watching. Take care.